Well, I would say it's the culmination of years of bad behavior. Unfortunately, it's ended up in the way that most people had predicted that it will happen. Tragedy. Unfortunately, to one of the best known local voices and faces of the Ghana Premier League. I mean, for a league that has struggled for ambassadors these couple of years, Francis Frimpong, that we all call Dana Pooley, was a massive ambassador of Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the Ghana Football League. I mean, you would not miss him at any Kumasi Asante Kotoko match anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, if he could afford to make the journey. So it is unfortunate that he passes away in such an unfortunate manner in circumstances that could have been so avoided, especially in a game where we go to have fun. This guy went to have fun, but look at the sadness that has come with it.
Would you say it's something that could have been prevented?
Definitely. I think that, like I said earlier, if we had worked on the series of bad behavior that we've always spoken about. I mean, we've spoken about the poor infrastructure, we've spoken about the poor security at our game centers, we've spoken about the lack of punitive punishments that actually deter crowd violence and this kind of behavior. We've spoken about the emergency services. All those things came into play. Francis Frimpong had been injured on the ground for close to 20 minutes. There was no proper trauma care for him. In a Category B game, I've seen the criteria for a Category B game. For the emergency services, there's supposed to be 40 Red Cross, 40 St. John's ambulance personnel, and 2 ambulances. How many ambulances were there? It was 1. The ambulance, we couldn't even find the driver. For a unit that is supposed to have 40 people available. What happened to the Red Cross as well? 40 of them, none of them were there. The policemen, who are also perhaps trained even in first aid, also looked on sheepishly. None of them were interested in helping the young man out. Also, the circumstances that led to, what we saw there at the VIP stands, the brawls, the altercations, all those things didn't need to happen if we've had a system in place that has dealt with these things. For instance, in Sutraman are repeat offenders. This venue is, for the local viewer or local follower of the game, a serial offender when it comes to misbehavior. Why was the venue still open? Why had there not been changes made to the venue? 10 days ago, they were charged for an incident with Mediama Football Club, if I'm not mistaken. That case has not even been settled. Then we have another one. The same Mediama last year got into another altercation with another team. I remember Maxwell Kunadu almost died. He was in hospital for 2 weeks with the same football team. But here they are. They get fined 10,000. They can afford to pay. And they're still in the league. Under normal circumstances, that ground should have been shut down a long time ago. Our refusal to do what is right by our league, to promote it, the difficult decisions. And that's the thing. We've always taken the easy way out, papered over the cracks, taking the easy decisions, to make sure that, the league goes on, rather than actually doing the things that make sure that this is a viable league. Most of the time, you try and say something, they say you are bringing the league into disrepute. What is more disreputable than this? How does the FA change this? If you look at the raft of announcements that they've made, the questions they've had to answer, your name is all over the world. The brand is all over the world. You are answering questions on the death of a fan at the stadium. What is more disreputable than this? They should issue that green letter to themselves and say they have brought the game into disrepute. But the point I'm trying to make is all these things needn't have happened if they had done the right things as they are supposed to have done.
There's a school of thought that suggests that it's only at a football stadium that the laws of the country doesn't work. It's only at the football stadium that you can go and misbehave and you don't get caught up with the law. Are you convinced by the recent happenings that justice will be served, we'll get to the bottom of it, it will be a deterrent, and Ghana football might just be walking away from hooliganism and chaotic scenes?
The Football Association by itself cannot do this. I've always been a proponent of the theory that for football to get to take its proper shape, you need the involvement of the state. You need the state to legislate what the football game should look like. In most civilized jurisdictions, even in the UK, the Premier League that we spend all the time watching, as we speak this year, there is a bill that is being considered to regulate the English Premier League and what we see on TV, what happens security-wise. We've seen it before. When the Hillsborough disaster occurred, Liverpool fans lost their lives against Sheffield United, against Sheffield Wednesday, and that marked the change of every single security policy in the English Premier League game. Before that day, English stadiums were all standing. 2 months after that incident, all stadiums were told, either you put in seats or we shut you down. Everybody put in seats. Those are the kind of drastic measures that we need to see in our game. The minister, Mr. Kofi Adams, is new, but he needs to have a conversation with the Ghana Police Service. If need be, make arrangements, go to the parliament and pass LIs and say that, look, for a football game to be played in this country, we must have a certain kind of stadium for the game to be played in. If it means that we are going to play our football in 5 stadiums across the country, let it be so, until we are able to put up the proper facility where every fan can go and feel safe. Because in the end, it's about the fan feeling safe. It's about the fan feeling a sense of hospitality. It's about creating an enabling environment for both the players and for the fans and for the people like you who go there to work. Because in most of the venues, you've been to such a man where they cut your cables. You might not say it, but I'll say it for you. They cut your cables last year. A lot of other venues have witnessed these occurrences. We need to legislate these things by the state. The Ghana Football Association then has no choice than to obey the law that says that you can only play a game of football in ABCD grounds. You're supposed to have 100 people there. 100 people are provided by the Ghana Police Service. It is not up to the GFA or whichever sports authority to regulate it. These things can be checked as a matter of state policy. Then the Football Association can take its traits from there, and then we move on. That's the only way I see this working. We leave this to the Ghana Football Association and Adakwa. Football is back in 2 weeks. They don't care.
Beyond Pooley and all the stories. Now, beautiful project you're putting up. Known Ghanaian sports journalists, academic. Now you venture into football. You own your club. What's the vision and where have you reached and where do you want to go?
It's a hard question, Anadakwa. So, I mean, you and I have done this for years, as colleagues, as friends, and at a certain point you have ideas and you want to try out those ideas and see if those ideas work. I mean, we've picked up experiences from across this work. I have spent time running a club, reporting on football, and I wanted to try a couple of things for myself within my community. But it's not just about football for me. A lot of these kids come from backgrounds where we look to assist them. So there's football and then there's life. So we are adding skills to what they're doing. So I think sometime last year we took a couple of them to the United States on a learning trip with the States Department. They went to several universities, saw how you can combine school, how you can combine football. And we are looking to expand that notion. We want them to see that there is a future for what they are doing. But whilst doing that, also providing the best kind of youth development that we can. It might not be at the optimum because, of course, we don't have the resources. But we think that we should be able to create an environment where these kids are able to maximize their potential, learn properly, are taught the game properly, are taught the correct attitude, because it's also about personality. It's not just about playing the game. It's about the mental aspects of it. So as you can see today, they're doing the mental part. It's a very tough day at training. They'll suffer today. But in the end, we're hoping that we're able to put out footballers who will be a credit to our club, a credit to our community, and then they can also bring some much needed respite to their families if they do indeed make it. We had a few success stories in the past 3 years since we started this, and I must admit I don't do this alone. A couple of names that you know are partners in this project. So Alfred Nelson, currently head coach of Hohoe United, is a partner in this. Coach Yakubu Yaro, who is also a partner in this project. Yusuf Otsman, also a partner in this project, and then myself, I'm somewhere in the corner, also a part of this project. So the four of us, all of us Dansoman boys who played on this ground, have decided to come together to do this. But I said we had Serge Zeze, he's gone, played for Asante Kotoko, moved to Raja Casablanca. We have a couple of boys in Spain. We have a couple of boys in Portugal. We have one boy who's just about to leave for a destination that will be known soon enough. Once it is announced, I don't want to give that away to you, but he's not here at the moment, but you will hear once it is announced. So a couple of boys also in certain Division 1 teams. We have a boy at Kim Faisal, William Bunny, right back doing very well. Hohoe United just took 2 of our boys, Yunus and Mumuni, who are midfielders. Hopefully they get an opportunity to shine in what is a very difficult team. But those are the kind of moves we're making. Give these kids early opportunities with the professional environment to see how they cope. If they make it, hey, we're in business.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much as well.